week, which is awesome traction for a single week. Over 8,000 on Facebook group, over 800, and we're definitely tracking really well. I'm sure a lot of people are excited and have a lot of questions about the 6% bridge bonus that we just announced. I am myself as well. So we're going to keep that a hot topic towards the end of this discussions and just have additional people trickle in. Before we get into the first question, another announcement that we wanted to make is that EMAX recently is rolling out or has rolled out community guidelines. So you'll see that implemented into the EMAX chat shortly. Just so everyone knows, this is just our initiative to have more of a succinct, respected community. We're a community first token, and we really feel like that this is going to bring everyone together when we have common guidelines and rules to go by. So we'll get into our first question with Gio. So last week we announced the Gervonta Davis and Mario Barros fight, and this week we actually launched the ability to purchase tickets directly with EMAX. So Gio, can you share a little bit about that process and what holders can expect?
Yeah, no, great question, Steve. Thanks for asking that. So, yeah, I think this is very exciting for us guys, and I think we can see the improvements. Those who have been on the actual website from the technology we had back on the Floyd Logan Paul site, where that was a very manual process. There was emails that needed to be exchanged hands. It was basically more of a concierge type service. Now we have kind of an application that the entire transaction can occur directly from entry, the picking of the actual individual ticket, the USD and EMAX equivalent, right in the same transaction, and the sending of the payment to the ultimate kind of vendor wallet. And I think this is a huge improvement, and it represents some of the technology we've been working on behind the scenes with our joint partners that we've spent quite some time developing that. And I think that shows what we can use for not only the fights and some of the hospitality groups that we're working on relationships with, and will be announced in the near future. So I think that's just a glimpse into the technology and on what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a huge improvement from the last Mayweather fight. I mean, it's like going from dial-up to high-speed internet, and something that I'll remind everyone that after high-speed internet comes T1, and definitely believe that we have that type of speed and performance in the future for sure. But as a follow-up to the payment question, you mentioned a while ago POS tablets for EMAX. We even posted a video of the technology in action. Can you share a little bit about where we are exactly with that?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of cut from the same cloth from a technological perspective. We've been working with the same partners who are now part of our team, and that technology has been worked on for years, and it's now being brought kind of live to the EMAX community. Those POS systems, the tablets, are actually usable. They're functional now. We will be bringing those out soon to relationships that we will announce, and it simply is it's akin to kind of like a tap technology with a credit card, where you can just kind of scan a barcode to the actual tablet from your wallet, and that allows kind of a seamless transfer of EMAX for payment. So we're very excited about that. We think that's kind of a next generation of ability to use crypto, specifically EMAX, in person kind of nightclubs, restaurants, all those type of settings. So very, I think it's next level technology.
Yeah, I have a quick question for you, which I'm sure you'll be able to answer. Can you riddle me this? How many other tokens in a month time period have been able to facilitate the payment processing and are ready to launch a POS tablet system?
Yeah, it's obviously a good question. I think that's one of the things that we think is our competitive advantage, right? I mean, the investment in the technology and the resources, it's part of what made us slow down a bit. And I know that there was a lot of kind of antsy community members and other potential investors out there who were looking to kind of understand what we were kind of waiting on. But I think the technology and having that infrastructure and platform in place to really, dive into those relationships kind of with that new technology right off the bat, as opposed to something that was a little more antiquated, that had to kind of be built up to the more advanced technology, is something we thought made the most sense, and now we're going to start to bear the fruit of it.
Nice. So this is a trending question, probably from the last 2 weeks, but definitely last week. So a lot of people have been asking about how their business can start accepting EMAX as a form of payment. So what type of guidance can you provide in terms of getting their business set up?
Yeah, no, I think that's something that, yeah, has come across all of our desks, and I think it's something we want to encourage, but we want to make sure it's done in the proper way. And we've built some processes so that Emacs will remain in the ecosystem. That's very important to keep price volatility down. And I think we have some channels built out with some partners to be able to manage that and scale the ability to take payments and kind of expand on that utility to do so. So I think if anybody out there wants to have Emacs used as a form of payment at their business, I think that's something that we should be in touch on. We're going to set up, I think we'll set up some sort of, shared drive where, I think individuals can come to us and we can provide that information on how to get them set up. So I think we can get that information out to all of our platforms in the near future.
Yep. What we're going to set up is a Google Sheet, just a form that will have everyone set up just to extract some business information. And then we could be in touch with everyone on an individual basis about their particular needs. So you will see that post coming out in the upcoming days on Telegram, various platforms, and that you are interested in your business being able to accept Emacs, please fill that out. All right, now getting into some of the juicy stuff. So this week on CNBC, Ethereum Max and Kim Kardashian, for those of you who are living under a rock, they were number one trending in the story, which in and of itself is it's a massive news outlet. I mean, it's CNBC. And I know part of the article mentioned that CNBC supposedly tried to reach out to someone at Emacs. What are your thoughts on the story in general and that particular aspect about how they said they reached out?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure everybody listening in here knows that if they reached out, we'd be more than happy to kind of comment on that story. But no, we have no record of anybody reaching out, to anybody under the kind of Ethereum Max platform or on any of the social media platforms or to any email or kind of group address that we maintain. And it's something that I think is interesting, and I think part of what our kind of marketing plan was in getting that message out with somebody like him and the relationship we've been able to form to just get on the landscape and get the visibility to these larger platforms. I mean, obviously CNBC is one of the gold standards from an investment perspective, and kind of getting on that in such an early stage in our life cycle, I think is in and of itself an achievement. And we look forward to being able to speak to them. We've been reaching out to them to kind of give our vantage point on what we're doing and what our future is and what our vision, just to kind of combat some of the things they said, which was pretty lazy journalism, to be frank. But I think it's something that in the future we'll definitely be able to address. And obviously we have our mediums of communication for any of these larger publications to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to tell our side of the story.
You hear that, CNBC? Lazy journalism. If you want a rebuttal to that, maybe you could try reaching out to us, and we'll decide if we want to respond to you. Yeah, that's how it is. All right. So now, the biggest part of the night, obviously. So we just made a real big announcement about the 6% bonus bridge, which, I thought was just, masterfully put together. So this is a two-part question. So in general, we've mentioned the concept of staking, but I've not really dove into the details or the complexity. So if you kind of, part one, if you could dive into, what that is, what it entails, and why it actually is so complex. And then part two of the question is why exactly did we decide to roll out the 6% bonus bridge in the meantime?
Yeah, so I think we've been talking for a while about wanting to improve the tokenomics. It was one of the main drivers of doing the fork in the first place, which we know some of the issues that that caused. But we think for the longevity of the project and to optimize all those tokenomics, in any number of features that we've listened to the kind of community voice and we see ourselves, we wanted to make sure we took our time a bit with that release. The 3x3x3 is something that I think is not really been attempted by really any other coins communities out there, and we're very excited for the kind of process around staking itself. We went out and kind of took a poll and did surveys and wanted to get the community voice and opinion on what their thought or their kind of direction would be for that third three. Staking got an absolute, got very high response rate. I believe
96%.
96, yeah, 96% of respondents said that they would be willing to stake some of their coins or all of their position, to receive a reward in the form of some sort of redistribution. So, we're very excited about that. We think it kind of represents a form of, I think we initially maybe messaged something about liquidity. We think staking actually kind of achieves a similar kind of stability, and it incentivizes kind of more long-term holding in order to get that benefit, which is really gonna benefit the whole community.
And
Uh,
Gio, can I interrupting here just to kind of take a step back for the community? Can you just almost give a broad overview of what staking is in and of itself?
Yeah, so staking is where you're just essentially having your shares, really shares, coins in this case, be locked up essentially for some period of time. And I think the concept around it is really to align those holders kind of with the kind of community vision on the project, right? We locked up our coins, went through the whole process yesterday. That was provided today. We showed everything that was done on chain, which was, I think, an exciting achievement. But having the process of staking occur from a holder perspective, it allows a yield or some sort of return and incentive to be provided to those individuals in exchange for having those coins held for a longer term period without the ability to trade them. So I
So
think
there's
that's
like almost like an interest aspect to it, like where you put it away and set it and forget it for a little bit, kind of.
yeah. I mean, I think that's the concept. I think one of the let's call it delays, but really more optimizations and thought process that we've had around the whole staking concept is okay. What time period do we actually want to have individuals have to commit to in order to receive that reward? I think the responses were a little varied, from the survey and some of the stuff we did, with when we went out to the community to get their opinion and their position on that. And so we're still figuring out the most optimized way, whether it be a tiered structure or different time periods, or whether it's kind of more based on what we think is kind of more the mean response on that. And I think there's that when we kind of finalize the most efficient way to do that, that's going to please the voice that we've heard from the community, that's when we'll release that portion of the feature and the tokenomics. And then as far as coming out with, I think the first part of the question with the 6%. I mean, look, the entire community has been there with us. They've listened and I think heard what we want to do, which is really just have the most optimal structure around the tokenomic itself. And it's something that we wanted to provide in the form of the 6% as almost a reward for the patience of the community. We had a lofty, an aggressive, I think, timeline to kind of get these tokenomics out. We want to release this portion of it. I think in the future release, we'll have a number of other features that is also going to be built in that is very community driven and based on feedback that we've heard from everybody. So I think we're very excited about releasing the 6%. I think the response has been very strong and positive. And I know that the response to the next piece of it is going to be even more positive. So we're very excited about all that.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly only released it, a couple hours ago, and the feedback has been nothing but overwhelming and positive. So that's amazing.
Absolutely. Yep.
And we're actually going to be, in living to our values, we're actually going to be posting the survey results just so everyone can see, how that community as a whole felt. Because we also mentioned how long staking is going to be, um, the process, and how people agree with it. So look for that to come for sure. So in a little bit, we're going to open up the Telegram chat as well as Discord to take some questions from the community. But something that we are excited to announce that we'll be rolling out is a new format for asking questions during these AMAs. We're going to have a form on our website that's going to be broken down by certain question categories. And if you want to ask a question, you'll have to send in an audio file. So let's say, it'll be limited to 30 seconds. So for example, hey, this is John from Tennessee. I have a question about the tokenomics and how does the 6% work, for example. So it's great because I think it'll further humanize these talks with the community. You get to hear some other people's voices, and I think it'll be a really streamlined way of answering questions. So look out for that in the near future. In the meantime, if we could open the chat back up, and if the community can start putting some questions in there, and Gio and I will do our best to get to as many as we can.
Is it over?
No.
All right, Gio, if you want to take a look in the chat, we could tag team this.
Sure. Here, where are we gonna start? You want to start here, and then I'll pop in with the.
We have such an active community. I was actually scrolling, but there's actually 1,700 more comments below. So I'm late to the game.
Hold on. I'm trying to get caught up here. I didn't know if you were gonna ask the question that we'd answer, but let me.
Here's a question just to further staking that you could probably answer, Gio. This one's from Willie. How does staking work if we're already receiving coins by just holding? So
yeah, so I think that there's going to be right now the 6% redistribution in a kind of final state. Let's call that 3% redistribution, which previously was 2. So that's just for holding. That's the same kind of redistribution that you're like I said, you're currently receiving. And then I think what we're saying by staking is there's going to be an additional benefit given, an incentive given to those who are willing to hold for a longer period of time, without the ability to sell. And for all the reasons we kind of just went through, but that's so you'd essentially earn a bonus on top of already earning a bonus, which is why I think we're so excited for it, and so is the community.
Nice. Then another one from Kevin. Are you guys thinking of 30 or 45 days for locking up the staking?
Yeah, I mean, I think those were part of the responses that or the options that we gave the community in the survey, and I think definitely that was part of around the mean. A lot of people had, I think, the desire that they would be willing to stake even for a longer period of time. So we're still kind of going through all of that and figuring out the most optimal structure. But that's a possibility. We're not kind of committing to the period of time at this point until we do some more kind of analysis.
Nice. This one's from, excuse me for butchering the name, Ali Andy. Um, can we get a better explanation of the 3 by 3 by 3? Do I need to get a new wallet to be involved? Great question.
Yeah, no, the beauty of this is you don't have to do anything. You continue to just hold your tokens, and the rewards keep on coming in. So that's kind of I think one of the key uh, you know uh, initiatives that we really wanted to really start to drive that initiative to buy, to hold, and kind of decentivize selling, and it's something that we think this will achieve. And again, it's I think this is a community that we all have eyes on holding long term. We see this vision, and we see the potential that we can achieve together, and I think this really helps us all get there in a much less volatile way.
Nice.
Hey,
This
Steve, I have a really common question.
Sure.
Well, it's a two-parter. As far as staking, people are asking, do you still get redistribution while you stake? And then the other is about clarification as far as holding and the redistribution, where custodial versus non-custodial wallets, people thinking that in exchanges, they're still getting those rewards. So I just want to touch base on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer the second one. Gio may be able better equipped to answer the first. And there's also some questions I'm seeing in here. So you do have to have the EMAX tokens in a wallet in order to reap these benefits, not on a rewards. I mean, and on a side note in general, I mean, again, not financial advice, but it is much safer to hold all of your holdings in a secured wallet with two-form authentication versus having it on exchange. That is where unfortunately a lot of the I will call it a loss of tokens happens because of third party. So in short, in order for this to be implemented, it does have to be sitting in a wallet. And Gio, I don't know if you want to answer the first one.
Yeah, as far as if you're still receiving yeah, so I think that the previous question kind of was targeted in a similar manner. So yeah, there's nothing really additional that you need to do. I think this election on whether you have the desire to do this would be a bonus or a reward, an incentive on top of the 3% you're already receiving. So it's kind of a creative and not one or the other, but you'd be able to receive both.
Nice. Submitting these audio questions are going to be great too, because I won't have to butcher the names. Here's an easy one from Dave T. What wallets will staking be available on? Is it all ERC20 wallets or only certain ones? I'm currently holding on Coinbase wallet.
Go ahead, Steve, if you want to take this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the simple answer to that, Dave, is yes. You don't, as long as it's the ERC20 wallet, then you will reap the rewards of the 3 by 3 by 3. Coinbase wallet being one of those. So you're good to go. Yeah, I don't think you could necessarily provide timelines for these, but we did get a question from Daniel in terms of any more details about the upcoming events in LA and New York. So I guess without giving away too many details, is there anything else you could update us with?
Yeah, no, I mean we're working on a number of things in both of those locations and other locations around the country. So I think that's very exciting, and I think it's not just one thing. I think there's going to be multiple things in these different locations. So that's exciting. I don't want to really let the cat out of the bag yet, but in a very short order, we'll start making those announcements and kind of raise the excitement level around here.
Nice. So this is one from Silvio, which is kind of a tough one. But how does it work if we are using if we're using EMAX to make payments, let's say for a fight or pay-per-view, but also how do we balance that with the goal if the goal is to hold it long term? So the question more or less is, obviously it's going to be utilized as utility and payment, but also, the community also wants to hold it. So maybe if you could kind of, explain the 360 ecosystem and the value behind that.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. So, and I think to the question earlier of individuals wanting to know if they can accept Emacs at their, their business or, in any everyday use, I think everything we're doing is trying to make not only Emacs something that, we're driving value and we're seeing appreciation of that over time, but also a utility, right? So the expansion of the utility is how do you use it? While maintaining that value. And I think that's something that we've been working kind of tirelessly on. And what we've been able to come up with is a construct where that Emacs is used and it will remain in the ecosystem with kind of strategic partners that are acting as intermediaries between the customer and the vendor, and all that Emacs will remain in the ecosystem that produces a much more stable price, less volatility as far as somebody buying Emacs say to use for a purchase, and then a vendor say receiving the Emacs and wanting to convert back to get USD. So that if I'm inferring that the other piece of the question is like, should you use the Emacs or hold it? I think that's we believe everything we're doing is driving value and will continue to drive value in a long-term way. But that if Emacs is something that anybody wants to use as utility from their holding, I think that's based on kind of what you feel comfortable holding, and where kind of you want to see that grow in the long term versus being able to use it today to receive an experience or a product or some. And I think that's just to kind of expand on that. I think what we're trying to build here is something where it's not only that you can just choose between using Emacs or say an Amex, right? Like it's that Emacs is going to allow you to have access to things that non-Emacs payers don't have. Like, so we always have referred to this this Emacs experience, and the Emacs experience is a real thing. Like there's going to be access to to events and to certain tickets and to experiences within that event with whether it be the athlete or whether it be discounts that other payment types just don't get. So I think that's something that we're very excited about, and I think you guys all as community members should be extremely excited to just start to get access and see some of the stuff that we're going to be rolling out, that Emacs will allow you to access.
Nice. Yep. All about the 360 ecosystem. This one comes from Joey, which is a good one. We addressed it last week, but I want to continue to address it. Is Emacs in any way affiliated with ePay? Asking since you both have POS systems and making moves. The simple answer is no, we are not affiliated with them. And at the end of all of these talks, we do go over our official channels and our official platforms. So definitely be mindful of imitators out there. But the simple answer is no, we are not.
Good categorization. Yes.
Yep. This one's from Chris Gio. If you sell right now or buy right now, what is the taxed amount?
So yeah, so the 6% that gets redistributed to you it's the same way if you're actually selling. So there's going to be 6% of those coins in the transaction that get redistributed amongst all the current holders. So I think that's the thought process behind the incentivization to buy and hold, and all that day trading and things like that produce some volatility. I think maybe lowered a bit. Just given that now there is that tax, but yeah, so it's a full 6%, and it's just from the transaction to all the holders that pro rata based on their ownership.
There's another good one from MBW. Is there any connection between Instagram that was formerly Ethereum Max _official and the Emacs team? They're now launching their own coin. No is the answer. And, this is a prime example of, an account that was trying to imitate us. We have been working with Instagram for a while. You saw that they were, may have not as well, but they were sharing our posts, and then all of a sudden they deleted everything. So essentially they were trying to bait our holders. So, as a PSA, please be very careful about sites, platforms that are not officially Ethereum Max. And again, you can see all those on our website, but know that we're not associated with them. And, it's pretty obvious what they were trying to do, unfortunately. Another question was, what is the status of our social media accounts, especially Instagram, being verified? Our PR team and social teams have been working on that for a while. And from what I hear, we are getting close. It's, when you're dealing with these very large corporations, it's not exactly, straightforward. But to my understanding, there is an open dialogue, and we are getting close. Let's take two more, Gio. That work for you?
Yeah, that works.
This is a good question from Rich M. When all protocols are finalized and audited, how would the future enhancements be implemented, and would another fork be required?
Yeah, no, I think we all went through the initial fork. It was to get a fully flexible and a smart contract to back the token that could build in all of these optimizations that we're doing now. In addition, it allows for us to kind of go in some different directions from a utility. I think there's other things that we are thinking about. We've mentioned NFTs in the past. There's some things we're thinking in that space that the current smart contract that backs the token will allow us to kind of plug into. But we definitely do not anticipate any additional fork being needed. These additional features will be built into any future release of the tokenomics, and it'll go directly into the smart contract. And the best thing about it is you won't have to do anything; you'll just reap the rewards.
Here's a funny one from Rich M. Have Steve, Josh, or Gio, has anyone run up to you on the street and said, "Oh my God, hey, it's you, Steve"? No, because my life has been Emacs and I just sit in front of a computer, so I don't even know how the street looks. I don't even know what weather. I don't even know what the temperature is outside. If it's light or dark. How about you, Gio? Anyone running up to you?
Yeah, I mean, I like to rep the Emax gear, the tees and and the Emax hats. So I definitely have some fans out there. But just like you, we've been pretty hard at work. Haven't got to spend that much time outside. But yeah, it's definitely here and there get somebody coming up and getting excited and wanting to talk about what's going on. But it's all exciting stuff. Yeah, love coming across that.
Good. At least one of us is leaving the house. Let's take
Every now
one
and
more.
again.
Here's one from Cade. If we have Kim K advertising, we have Kim K advertising our community and token. We need to make it easier to purchase, as a majority of our followers will want easy purchase. Any news on mainstream exchanges such as Binance and Coinbase? So we get asked this weekly. We can't provide specific updates on specific platforms. What I could tell you is that this week alone, it's only Tuesday, I've already been on 2 phone calls with exchanges and with our team about expediting some of the process. So I feel pretty confident that we'll, in the next 2 weeks, we'll be able to announce another one. But again, we realize that, purchasing crypto in general, and Emax is certainly in that category, is not the most straightforward process. And that is one of the objectives of Ethereum Max, to be able to bring this token mainstream to the people and set it up in a way where it's super easy to purchase, because we know that's probably the biggest hurdle in this ecosystem right now. So we hear you. We have a complete team on it. The applications, again, are robust. There are multiple pages: technical, business, financial. But we are working tirelessly on it, and we're confident that we will have more updates for you in the near future.
Yeah, and then just to add addition to the additional exchanges and the bigger exchanges, we're also working on technological solutions that will. You've heard me mention many times that kind of the barrier to entry. I mean, all we're trying to do is lower that barrier to entry, whether it be by exchanges or whether it be by our kind of like proprietary apps. on our website that will allow for easier purchase without having to go through all the steps in a Uniswap. So those are all things that are being worked on currently. They're very high in the priority list, and I think in the very near future we'll have we'll have the ability to buy without having to go through all the steps. So that's really exciting.
Awesome.
Steve, quick question. A lot of questions about a merch store.
We are working on that. I know with confidence already is in development. So probably well, what we don't want to do is we don't want to show progress without necessarily a concrete update, because that could just be perceived the wrong way. So I guess in short, to answer your question, I could say with confidence it is in development. We are working on it. Do I have a timeline for when we are releasing that? No, but I could tell you that that's not something that's kind of like by the wayside, and we're eventually going to get to it. We do have people that are already working on that. So I would say, sooner than later, it will be able to release something. All right, guys, we're going to take that as our last question for the evening. Thank you very much for being part of the Ethereum Max community. We do appreciate each and every one of you. And as we started off this call, we will be doing this on a regular basis now on Tuesdays. And we are in the process of rolling out a more streamlined system where the community will be able to ask their questions ahead of time, so that the actual process of the Q&A is managed in a more efficient way. So thank you again for all your support. Hope everyone enjoys the 6% bump, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. Thanks a lot.
Everyone give a silent round of applause for Steve and Gio.
Thank you, Josh.
Josh, are you taking over right now?
And he's gone.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.